I never thought a joke could end a marriage, but that night proved how fragile respect really is. My name is Callum Rhodes, 39, married for 11 years, and I believed I knew my wife. We hosted friends, laughter filled the room, wine flowed, and nothing felt dangerous until. It was supposed to be harmless banter, the kind couples trade without thinking. Someone joked about marriage, another teased about dating apps, and then my wife laughed loudly and said she might need a new husband. The room laughed. I felt heat crawl up my neck while everyone waited for. I forced a smile because that's what men do when embarrassed publicly. Inside, something cracked. She looked at me like she expected a punchline, like my dignity was optional. I realized in that moment the joke wasn't about humor. It was a test of how much disrespect I would swallow. Her friends laughed it off, plinking glasses, already moving on. I sat there, nodding, pretending it didn't matter, while replaying years of small cuts. The eye rolls, the sarcasm, the way affection became conditional. That joke landed because it echoed things she had already shown me in private before now. Later that night, when guests left and silence returned, I asked why she said it. She shrugged, scrolling her phone, and told me not to be sensitive. Said it was just a joke. That dismissal hurt more than the words themselves, because it confirmed how little my feelings registered anymore. I went to bed awake, staring at the ceiling, replaying the moment over and over. By morning, clarity replaced hurt. If she could humiliate me publicly, she had already detached privately. I stopped arguing, stopped explaining, and focused on observing. Sometimes silence tells you everything words never will eventually anyway. The next week, we attended another gathering. Same smiles, same jokes. Someone teased marriages again, waiting. My wife glanced at me, smirking, expecting me to play along. That's when she repeated it, louder this time, saying she deserved better. The room froze. Every eye shifted toward me in that moment. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't smile. I simply said, calmly, that if she wanted a new husband, she was free to find one. Then I added that jokes like that usually hide truths. The silence afterward was brutal. Her laughter died instantly, replaced by shock and disbelief everywhere. On the drive home, she accused me of embarrassing her. I told her embarrassment comes from disrespect, not honesty. She went quiet, staring out the window. That was the moment roles shifted. I wasn't chasing reassurance anymore. I was evaluating whether this marriage still contained mutual regard at all anymore. Over the following days, I noticed patterns I'd ignored. How decisions were hers alone. How apologies never came. How affection felt transactional. The joke was only the surface crack. Underneath, the foundation was already compromised. I wasn't angry. I was alert. Awareness replaced hope, and that changed everything quietly forever. That evening, she tried to laugh it off again, telling me I was overthinking. I listened without interrupting, then told her calmly that respect isn't optional for me. I said I wouldn't share a life with someone who jokes about replacing me. My tone wasn't harsh. It was final there. She stared at me like she was seeing a stranger. Maybe she was. I had spent years smoothing edges, absorbing slights. That night, I stopped. I explained that humiliation disguised as humor erodes trust. If she wanted partnership, it required basic regard. Otherwise, we were delaying the inevitable for ourselves. She called me dramatic. Said everyone jokes like that. I disagreed. Jokes reveal boundaries. I told her my boundary was clear now. She grew defensive, accusing me of threatening divorce. I corrected her. I wasn't threatening. I was informing her of consequences. There's a difference adults understand when respect matters. The days that followed were tense and quiet. She tested silence the way she tested jokes, waiting for me to bend. I didn't. I focused on work, on myself, on clarity. Something shifted. Power returned the moment I stopped pleading to be valued. Calm replaced fear, and resolve settled in. 1 week later, she asked if we were okay. I said we were honest now, which mattered more. I told her rebuilding required accountability, not humor at my expense. She nodded slowly, uncertain. Whether she would change wasn't my concern anymore. I had already reclaimed something more important, self-respect. Friends noticed the change before she did. I spoke less, listened more, tolerated nothing. The joke that once embarrassed me had clarified everything. Sometimes humiliation is a gift if you accept the lesson. I no longer feared being alone. I feared staying where dignity was negotiable and constantly undermined daily. If this marriage survives, it will be different. If it ends, it will be clean. Either way, I won't laugh along while being diminished. That night taught me something vital. Respect isn't requested. It's required. The moment someone jokes about replacing you, they've already tested losing you without consequences first. I didn't need shouting or threats. I needed boundaries spoken calmly. Her ice-cold reaction that night revealed everything beneath the smile. Whether she intended harm didn't matter. Impact mattered, and the impact was clarity. I finally saw the marriage as it was, not as I imagined it before. Then some people think love means tolerating everything. I disagree. Love requires mutual care, not public mockery. The joke about a new husband ended something old in me. In its place grew self-respect. Whatever happens next, I know one thing for certain. I will never minimize myself again for anyone. That night didn't end with yelling or drama. It ended with truth. A joke exposed the distance we pretended wasn't there. His brutal reply wasn't cruelty. It was honesty delivered without emotion. Sometimes the coldest responses are simply boundaries spoken aloud, marking the exact moment you choose yourself without apology.